Tricia, an organic gardener, and I'm here with Renee Shepherd from Renee's Garden Seed, and we're at the San Francisco Flower and Garden Show. And Renee has been selling garden seeds for a very long time, and Peaceful Valley has actually done business with Renee for many, many years. We carry Renee's garden seeds in addition to our Peaceful Valley line of seeds. And I am so anxious to find out from Renee, what do you think about edible flowers?
Well, edible flowers are a lot of fun, and they're very good tasting, and they've been around for a long time, and it's something that you can use in your garden if you want to have vegetables, and then you want to intermix it with flowers to attract beneficials and make the garden beautiful. A lot of people don't realize how many of them are quite edible.
Well, give us some examples of what are great edible flowers.
Well, the first thing I want to say, with all edible flowers, you should make sure that they're organically grown, or if from seed, or if you purchase plants, that they are, again, organically grown, because commercial flowers are treated with herbicides or pesticides, so you need to be careful about that.
Okay, great. And
if you go online, you could find good lists, but I'm going to mention the ones that I think are the most fun and easiest to use, and the first one would, of course, be nasturtiums. Nasturtiums come in 12 different colors. That is, if you grow them from seed. I know most people are used to seeing them wild along the road, but they also come in cherry color and cream color and salmon color. And nasturtiums, the blossoms, the petals taste like watercress, maybe with a hint of honey. They're very lovely with crab and salmon. You can mix them with cream cheese and cucumbers and a little chives and make a really nice sandwich spread.
And nasturtiums are vines, correct?
Nasturtiums come from seed in different forms, and they either are mounding, and they're really great in containers, or they'll crawl along the ground and provide great ground cover. You can also, on the trailing ones, train them up so they can be really vertical columns.
And I know that you sell a lot of seeds, nasturtium seeds. What's the most popular color?
Well, I think that the ones, right now I would say the yellow and the gold ones are very popular.
Great.
The chefs like to work with the vermilion red ones, and they all taste the same, kind of watercressy.
So I see some little flowers in this display, which, by the way, is by Homegrown. Autumn Gonzalez is the designer. Would we eat these?
Marigolds are edible. They are not so much that flavorful, but they add a lot of pretty color. So marigolds and calendulas are nice edible flowers. Unsprayed roses are edible, and you can take a whole bunch of very fragrant rose petals and put them in a canister of sugar and set your sugar. That's really nice to do.
Ooh.
And then, more importantly, all the flowers of your culinary herbs, like if your arugula goes to seed or your oregano starts to set flowers, you can pick all those, and they taste exactly like the plant they came from, and they're really lovely garnishes on things, or to chop up and put in sandwiches.
So that brings me to the question about herbs. Herbs are so wonderful in the kitchen. What about growing them in the garden?
Well, I have a very large trial garden, as you know, because we trial everything extensively before we put it in seed packets. But I still, right outside my kitchen door, have 5 pots of my 5 favorite herbs, because gardening, if you garden from seed, you can have all this diversity and the luxury of having as much herbs as you want instead of buying them in little packages in the store.
So what are the 5?
I always grow basil.
Yes.
And of course there's 12 kinds of basil. And I like lemon basil that combines the flavor of lemon and basil, and it's great on chicken and in salads and rice dishes and so on. I always grow lemon thyme. I always grow dill, chives, arugula, cilantro, and oregano. Those are the ones I wouldn't be without, because having lots of fresh herbs is a treat. They grow easily from seed as long as you wait till it's warm enough.
And what about, can we grow some of the more difficult herbs like tarragon or rosemary from seed?
Tarragon does not come from seed. It's propagated from cuttings. You may find something called Russian tarragon in seeds, but it doesn't taste the same.
Okay.
So true French tarragon is something you need to buy from a pot. Rosemary does grow from seed. Here in California, it's such a common plant that we don't really think of starting it, but it's a slow germinating perennial, but yes, it grows handily from seeds.
Great. So let's see, can we make a couple of comments about this edible garden?
Well, this edible garden has a lot of good things in it. That's what was my first thought. They've got citrus, a blueberry plant, some basil, there are tomatoes.
Looks like maybe a pomegranate.
Looks like a pomegranate, and then a few marigolds. You know, going back to the nasturtiums, if you grow 4 or 5 colors, you can pick the leaves and put a little basket of, pick the petals and put a little basket of each color and then add the different color petals to your salads. And you can also toss it with pasta.
I'm going to do the roses.
The roses are nice.
I never realized, and I'm going to try that. I appreciate the tip.
Well, that's how they make rose water.
Rose water in the Moroccan cuisine, sure.
Tulips are edible, and begonia blossoms are edible. Marigolds are edible. Borage flowers are edible. There are a lot of things that are edible, but if you want a good place to start, it's just with your own herbs in your garden. If they go to flower, instead of pulling them out, you can just enjoy the blossoms, and if you leave the blossoms of most flowering herbs, you'll attract pollinators and beneficial insects as well.
So if we go to your website, which is
reneesgarden.com,
and we can find out what flowers are edible?
We actually have a whole article on attracting beneficials to your garden, and we have another handout on edibles. Yes.
Great. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you helping us today, and take advantage of Renee's Garden Seeds and Go Organic for Life.